Hi, my name is Kim Payton. Just to recap, this is my show. It's called Kim Payton #ICAN. And as you can see, we are in a new setting, which I'm very excited to share with you. We're actually in the set studio. I want to talk about what we're going to do here today. This show is about story. The goal is empowerment, inspiration, overcoming, and winning. But sometimes losing, but also learning from it. We all have stories. So this is your story. This is where you have the opportunity to tell others your story. I would now, and actually I'm very excited to introduce you to Max Gomez. Hi Max, how are you? Welcome to my show.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited to be meeting with you. Before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Max Gomez, as Kim said. I'm an amputee, a below knee amputee. I've been an amputee for 7 years. I've raced motocross, which is how the accident happened. So it's dirt bikes on a closed course. I've been doing that since I was 4 years old, so it's pretty much the only thing I've ever known. In 2012, when I was a senior in high school, I was at a big race in Pennsylvania, and I kind of hit a jump the wrong way, and I landed off to the side of the track. And originally, when we first got back to the car, I took my boot off and looked at it, and things didn't look too bad. The swelling hadn't really set in. There wasn't much black and blue, but the pain was pretty severe, so we decided to go to the hospital. I ended up being in the hospital for 3 weeks, and after 2 weeks, they tried all these extensive procedures. I had 5 surgeries in total, and after 2 weeks they told me they didn't have much of a choice, that it was either I could keep my leg and I was going to develop gangrene and the infection can spread, or I could amputate my leg and then kind of just go from there. So to me and my family, it was kind of a no-brainer. We weren't going to keep my foot, so amputated it, and then from there just kind of went into that summer with a whole new outlook on life. It was this was just a whole new thing thrown at me that I knew I was going to have to figure out, and I knew that I could just treat it like it was another challenge. It's one of those things that you got to kind of at least how I took it was that it was just something new, that this is the cards that I was dealt, and if it was going to happen to anybody in my family, I was the one that could handle it the best. So I kind of just took at it and looked at it. I looked at it in the most positive way I could, and here we are 7 years later. I like to think I made a full recovery, and I still race motocross. We're here in this beautiful studio sets, where I'm a coach, and so I live a pretty active lifestyle, and I'm thankful for what I have.
That's an amazing story. I just want to backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
That moment when you were at the hospital, the doctor, who I'm sure tried everything, told you they had to amputate. I mean, you were only 17 years old. There was no, I guess, thought like, why me? Or how am I going to live my life without? Because your amputee is from below the knee.
Yeah,
correct?
so my leg actually goes all the way in here, so I'm really just missing my foot. I always say, my leg got amputated, and my mom gets mad at me all the time. She's like, it's not your leg, it's just your foot. So it's one of those things where my whole family was very positive. We kind of looked at it on the bright side, but I definitely did have those moments in the hospital where I was like, why me? I was set to go to school, go away to college, and I missed my graduation, I missed my prom. So it was a lot of things going on that I'm like, this is like the worst. Not only was it a bad incident, I'm like, this is the worst timing, but I try not to keep those negative thoughts, because this, it only haunts you, and it can only, you can really hurt yourself thinking that way. So I kind of just pushed those thoughts aside, and like I said, I just was like, you know what, this is something that I'm gonna figure out. I'm not gonna let it get me down. And at the time I was actually 18, but still, I didn't know a single thing about prosthetics. I didn't know anything. It was a whole new world. So I was eager to kind of look things up, see, you know, what's the best technology, what am I going to be able to use, what can I do, what can I do. And so those things kind of, I almost turned it into kind of like a game where I was like, all right, like, let me see what I could find out today.
So you actually got to pick out what, I guess, prosthetics you want.
Yeah.
And like you said.
Yeah.
So was it difficult learning to reuse your foot again? Or was it hard to, it was hard
Yeah,
for you?
yeah. It was, so probably about a year in, I still in my head had this idea of what it felt like to walk with two legs. And then slowly, little by little, I started to like almost forget what it was like, because I knew that, okay, I'm 18, I'm gonna have this prosthetic for longer than I had my two real legs. So at this point, I gotta figure out this thing perfect, because when I'm an old man, you know, I wanna still be able to walk as well as I do now. So for me, it was definitely a bit of an adjustment.
Right.
The balance is a little different, because instead of walking on the bottom of your foot, I'm essentially walking on my knee, because this is where the pressure is.
Okay.
So most people think I'm standing on the bottom, but the bottom of my leg is not actually touching down there. It's the prosthetic is made so that you apply pressure through your knee. So essentially I'm walking on my knee. That's where I feel the pressure.
That's what I thought, because just a little side note, I actually, Max is the coach here, and I'm actually one of the people that come to teach in the class. So I've seen him in action, and he is totally amazing. And I had noticed that it stops right here, so that's why I was just wondering if you felt that they called like phantom pain.
Yeah.
So obviously you had experienced that.
Yeah.
So thank you for talking so much about, I wouldn't even call it a disability. A term that I like to use is called differently able.
Yes.
Meaning to do things in a different way, but you're still able to do it.
Yeah.
So what would you say in the last 7 years, if you had to think, what would be like one obstacle you had to overcome? Whether you, whether like other people, reaction to you?
So I've always been very like, you know, when people come up to me, even if they're like kind of nervous, or, you know, they don't want to ask me what happened, or you know, because it's, to most people it's very intriguing. They, you know, it's not, you don't, even me personally, I'm an amputee and I don't see very many. They're, you know, it's one of those things where every once in a while you'll see somebody and it's almost like wow, you know they have a story. So for me, you know, whenever people come up to me, I try to make myself as open as possible. Even in class, like sometimes you'll see I'll take my leg off. Like I'm not very, you know, shy with stuff like that. And I try to make myself very approachable, because I want to spread the word about how, you know, people with prosthetics, like you said, it's not a disability. It's a change to your new life that you can do things just as well, if not better, than you did before.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think it's just all about the preparation, the determination, being, you know, mentally strong and able to work past these things. But, you know, I would say just me being open about it and trying to spread the word is something that I really try to push.
I could definitely tell you have a great mindset about it. And I think that's one of the things that people who are differently able have to learn to do. You have to have a good mindset, because that's how you can approach your life, as you were saying. Then you try to be open-minded. You want people to ask you questions, because even with my cochlear implant, I have no problem with people asking me questions, because I actually welcome it, because they learn.
Yeah.
And they learn that we're just the same as them. I mean, maybe we have to work a little bit harder, but we don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your greatest achievement?
Well, let's see. I mean, so to kind of, I guess, talk you through my career of how I ended up here, because I think that this is a great part of my life that I think is going to help me moving forward. So when I was, I think around, I've always been very active. I used to wrestle in high school, and then even like with the dirt bikes, it requires a lot of like in the gym type of stuff. So I've always been very, you know, a runner, and I love doing all types of activities. And then, like I said, like once this happened, that kind of, you know, it put things on hold, but it wasn't a permanent stop. And it was kind of just like, okay, well, I'm at this point now, but I need to figure out how to get over this hurdle so that I can continue doing what I was doing. And so over the years, I just continued to, work out, figure things out, try to get my balance down better, strengthen certain muscles in my legs and hips. And then a couple of years ago, I decided to go to school for physical therapy. Because this is kind of, exactly. I literally fell into that type of career. So that's currently what I'm pursuing. And then while I was getting my shadow hours, I worked at this place in Long Branch, and the therapist there, she was amazing. She was so, very intrigued by what I could do. She would always ask me questions like, let's try to get you better on your leg. And she really pushed me to be a better person. And she was the one that, told me, she's like, listen, you need to get your personal training, certification so that you can go on and train people, and I think you'll be able to inspire. And so this January of this year, I got my ACE certification, and then my girlfriend, Brianna Gadance, was training here at the time, and I took a class with her, and within the first day, I was like, this place is amazing. I was like, I would love to work here, and it was just very family-oriented, and just an awesome place to be. So a couple months passed, and I heard about Old Bridge, that they were opening, so I was like, let me just text Mike V and see what he says. And he's like, yeah, shoot your application over to Anthony, and Anthony got right back to me. I went in, I talked to him a little bit, and then now I'm slowly working my way into Freehold, and now I kind of have some of my own classes, and I'm meeting everyone, and I met Kim here, and from there things just, things are kind of snowballing, and I just love the atmosphere. I love everything about this place.
No, I totally do, and I love the fact that you were saying that it all kind of came together. You're pursuing your degree in physical therapy, so you definitely have the connection with all people from all walks of life. I mean, they come in, they see you, they know they have nothing to complain about. So I think it's so great that you're doing that, as well as being a coach here. You certainly inspire me.
Thank you.
And I think you inspire people who come in, they're tired, but at the end of the day, we have our true leg, you have your one leg, and you're walking around with a smile. You already have shown that you can do everything that we could do on two people, if not even better. So thank you. Just one last thing before we wrap this up. What would be the most important thing, or what would you suggestion, advice would you like others to know?
So one thing that I always say that I'm, I've been, especially now that I'm doing this coaching thing and I'm trying to inspire and relay the positive messages, I always say in my head that, you have one life, and no matter what cards you're dealt, this is your one life. The time we spend on this earth is so small in comparison to the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
And nobody deserves to be unhappy. And all it takes is just a positive outlook and a positive spin on a situation, and you could change your whole day. And I think that people just need to kind of turn it around and get that silver lining and just keep pushing forward and make the best of what they have.
Absolutely, and I share that same mindset as you, which is one reason why I wanted to do this show, because I've met and I know there's so many great people out there who have these great stories that need to be told or should be told to inspire others. So thank you, Max. This was amazing.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed having you here. I look forward to working with you, obviously, in our steps class. So thank you to all. If you would like to be interviewed, you want to reach out to me, please, you can reach out to me to kimpaytontv@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me via Twitter, which would be Kim Payton 4. Show love and be kind.